$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Suman Rahim here. National Covenant, break up 7 seals. Well, let's deal with Mr. Farrakhan first. We just give information about sisters. So you do what you want to do with it. Caucasian, black Caucasian, on his own mouth. What you do with that information, that's your business. That's what it is. Now, if you claim you're following Master Muhammad and Muhammad, then that means you're a devil. It's a black-faced devil. What's it called? Demons. I mean, I'm not just saying that. That's what a demon is in Scripture. So let's look. Here's a link. You get a link for yourself where he's saying exactly that. His parents were white, Caucasian, Portuguese, Jews. Out of his own mouth. You can go and research it. So what you do, information is up to you. If you want to pretend that it doesn't matter, fine. It's your business. We ain't trying to encourage you or inspire you. We're trying to give you information. Because as a God, you have this term. We're not going to determine what you do with information. If we're doing that, then right? You're not a God, are you? That's why the tribulation is ahead for you, because you have to figure it out yourself. Nobody's going to figure out stuff for you anymore. You had the devil's figure out for you for 400 years. You saw how that was. I mean, it's not your fault, because that was the whole process to keep you from thinking. I mean, because you think you was dead. That time's over now. So it's like, push something down in the water and let it go, see if it come back up or not. Come back up. And it wasn't really a balloon, was it? Because in the end, your nature is what's going to prevail. In the end, your nature is what's going to prevail. So if your nature is the nature of a God, you're a person, right? Then you're going to snap up out of this. You're going to come up out of this. You're going to get into the tribulation. You're going to get back home. It's back to your nature. You take a lion and you train him up and you have him in a cage for years maybe. But you got to constantly keep the pressure on, make sure it's under control. But once you stop doing that, its nature will kick back in and it's going to turn you into lion shit. It'll get a hold of you. So the tribulation is a test for you in every way. Test you on every level. Find what your nature is. Because if you have the nature, original person, then you're gonna make it back home. If you got raised of the devil, then you're not gonna rise above this because you want to stay here. Like Farrakon says, he wants to stay here. He says, "Don't make me leave." So that would be the last test after the Son of Man separates the chaff from the wheat. That'd be the final test. Because the chaff will not rise up out of here. There'd be some wheat there, but it's poison wheat, it's rotten wheat. It didn't make it, because what makes it, if it makes it, you have to be wheat to make it. Demons can't make it. You have to be wheat. There's to be some rotten wheat that's going to make it. Rotten wheat. Some everlasting life, some everlasting shame and empowerment. Demons will not make it out, the devils will not make it out. And it gets stacked down. So bottom line, discipline. That's going to separate the discipline itself, separate the good wheat from the rotten wheat. Because it's going to come down to emotions or intellect. Which one's going to rule? Can you discipline yourself? Can you discipline your emotions? Because if you can't, you're going to have problems. Because you're going to see things through tribulation you never thought you'd see before. And you can't afford to get in an emotional situation with people. I don't allow myself to do it. People think, no, I try to be, what's the word I want to use, personable, I guess. And I only do that for this mission, because people that know me, they know me, I don't mess with that guy. I don't deal with people. Not that I don't like people, it's just I'm a hermit. I don't like dealing with people. Plus this situation, because what I want to talk about and do, they have no interest. So I told them what I want to talk about. Hey man, people start flying, leaving, or I got to go home, or whatever. I got to hang up, I got to call. So I waste my time with it. Even though I was growing up, I had problems with girlfriends, right? Because I love girls. Right? I couldn't have been having a conversation with them. I started a conversation to my science and math and stuff. And all of a sudden, they look at me, my eyes start rolling again. So I had this person, I'm sure he's a demon because he's shelled on my sister. He dead now. But he was hot with the girls. So he told me one day, man, he says, he says, because I guess the girls was telling me, what's wrong with him, right? But they liked me, but the point is, once they started talking to me, I was so bad, like, wow. So he came and told me, they said, look, he says, yeah, I guess he had a lot of experience, right? He said, you can talk your way into something, then you talk your way right back out of it. So once you get in, just shut up. Right? And so I found out, the less I said, the more popular I was with 3 females. Don't move on, bro. But like I said, you can't, if you get in that emotional thing, I'm talking about, you gotta achieve highs. You gotta come together as one body. It's gotta be on an intellectual level. But you'll be tried on an emotional level. And if you can't overcome emotional level, you will die here. Because you see things that's going to try your emotions. Your emotions be tried to the maximum. Because we're not going to bring the emotional stuff into the hereafter. The undisciplined emotional stuff. We're not going to bring it. Here, the man bother with it. Take or leave it. I mean, intellectual decision. I'm not going to talk because I don't like them. They did this to me. If that's where you're coming from, you will not make it. Talk to this person. Are they for real? Right. Talk. Find out, check them out. Bond with them. Because Hajj, I can't get people to understand that. Hajj is one of the 5 pillars. It's going to be your protection. And I don't see anybody really taking that serious. But, I don't like him. He said this about this. He said about my friend, and he did this to me. He don't. Then you ain't talking Hajj. You always figure, how am I get? Is that brother or sister? Is they a believer? I'm going to connect. I'm going to connect. That's what we're thinking. Like fasting. Fasting is easy. Well, you think fasting is easy? All those principles are difficult. The first one's the hardest one. Consequence, just understand that. When you really understand that, you're really free. Hope you understand that. That's why they're struggling, worry about this. Oh, this might happen, right? They don't understand the math of consequence. Understand they're free. They don't worry about anything. That's the bottom line of the 5 pillars. So you want to stick in that emotional thing? So now you out there. Now I ain't messing with nobody. Man. I'm just messing with me. So you out there by yourself. Right? How's that gonna work? I'm dealing with people. I don't want to deal with people. I was very comfortable not dealing with people for years. Very comfortable. Almost near 30 years. Then I started dealing with people off and on. And people try to drag you into the emotional, intellectual. You got to love your people on the intellectual level, not emotional level. The emotional level is like the weather. You like them today, next day you don't like them. Been in a relationship like that, or one day you're son of God, next day you're stating shit. But that's Farrakon. See, they deal with Farrakon on the emotional level. They not deal with Farrakon on the intellectual level because they would get that $5,000. They cannot find any intellectual proof that verifies Farrakon. They can't. They wouldn't want an emotional level. So you've been told. So if you can't overcome that, then you might as well just go ahead and get as much of that American dream is left. You have as much snow as you can. That's his daddy. They don't want to hear it. That's a problem. Where's the clock? You can go. This is public information. See here? And you can look at this. And this is what the man says. This is the only words. I got him show the presentation, the video. He's saying this. He's saying, those black kids right there, that nappy hair, they're ugly. It's ugly. But the one got straight hair like him, with no nose, no mouth, no lips, they're beautiful. The nappy hair, that's a natural crown. That was the head of God's head. And now the angels have it too. Because the angels moved up to godhood. Some of the angels still got it. Understand? Why do they call it makeup? Why do they call it makeup? The word itself, you're making up for something. They got to make up what they don't have. Trying to be like the black women that they hate so much, they say ugly, but yeah, they put makeup and give themselves some lips. Give themselves some color. Give themselves a butt, muscles. Fake. The truth is all around us. The problem is like the light's all around you, but it doesn't matter if you're blind, does it? It doesn't matter if you're blind. That's what it is. They blind you mentally. The truth is all over around you. And the angel is giving it to you, and you can go verify everything. You don't have to go out and believe in anything. You have to believe anything I tell you. You can verify everything I say. You can verify it easily. Mathematically, or just some research. Like I just showed you. Proof about Farracon's daddy. Him saying himself, you're going to believe him? But you're on an emotional level, oh, I like Farrakon. And I go out my way to make sure you don't connect with me on an emotional level. The way I talk, the words I use, I make sure I don't want you to connect with me on an emotional level. If you're doing it, that's a mistake. Thinking, oh, you can impress me. You can't impress me. I'm not going to be impressed. If you want me to like you, then you got a problem. I'm not going to like you. I'm not even going to go there. I respect you. If you're doing it for self and you're moving and you're a believer. Because that way you reserve respect because you're gonna be around for a while. If you're not a believer, why waste time? Because when the flood comes, your ass gonna drown. Because you had sense enough to get into that ark. Try to connect with an emotional level, forget it's not gonna happen. You might think it's happening, it's not happening. Because some of the people I know, I probably never see again. By next year, I probably never see them again. One of my children, man, they think I'm Satan. So I'm talking so I'm not gonna go ahead and get myself on greed and everything over an emotional level because of what they're doing. It's their problem. I gave them life, they ain't gave me a goddamn thing. If they want to mess around and blow themselves, that's their business. I'm not gonna sit around and get myself grieving, heart attack and stroke, dealing with on the emotional level. That's what it's all about. That's why people have high blood pressure and low blood pressure and strokes and heart attacks. It's all because they on the emotional level, the emotions is doing that to them. The emotional level, I'm 77, I had those issues. The emotional level is doing that to them. They're in emotional hell. They ever said the man was beating himself. Beating yourself, how much can it be? So we're going to play what he says here. He says it. What's that word for it? That's a natural crown. That's just, she don't need a crown here because that's a natural crown. That's the best hair there is. All you got to do is Google it, DNA. It tells you. I did Google it, and I got a little clip. You see, they have dominant and recessive genes. I ain't talking about genes you wear. Genes. Gene. Dominant is the best. Recessive is what comes out of that. That's the aspects of it. And black is the most dominant, is the best. Very best. And everything you see there, the lips, the nose, I ain't talking about exaggerated lips, like, no, I'm not getting to that. Well, when you see that, you don't go to Africa, you don't see all that. Like he tried to tell you, a big old nose and big old lips. You don't see all that over there. I haven't seen it. Go to Nigeria, it looked like pretty much like you look at Haitian. You see Haiti, they're pretty much like Haitian look. Maybe I won't say I look like. But the point is, when you see that over here amongst us, because we got a lot of little distortion of thing, that's coming inbreeding. They're inbreeding. That's where the term FMF comes from, motherfucker. Because they would have you, they had to have a breeder. They pick the strongest one they could, and he'd breed, and they'd bring women to him. He used to produce them. Because remember, they had to bring slaves over and said, okay, we produce them ourselves. So they pick a stronger, they call him a stud, I think. And then they bring women. All he does is impregnate him. They bring his mother and sister. Most time he even know who his mother was. It could be his mother, he wouldn't even know it. She might even know that was her son. And just bring him in there. Produce babies, they didn't care. Baby retarded, big nose, whatever. Just that's another worker. See? And a lot of that comes from inbreeding. You start inbreeding, that's what scriptures tell you. That's the one law that we definitely had. Do not reproduce close relatives. Because that's beautiful. That little girl, that's beautiful. That's the average, that's what average black people look like. That's why they call us gold. Our skin's golden. It's not even really black, really, it's golden. The gold comes in many shades. And you got gold as black as tar. You got gold as light. Right? So we got all those different levels. Right? But he says that's ugly. See out here? No lips, no nose. hair laying down like a dog. That's beautiful because he got straight hair too. So wolves are beautiful. Dogs think dogs are beautiful. They hang each other, don't they? So he thinks they're beautiful because he's one of them. Now listen to this video yourself. Tell him word for it. Listen what he says. Out of his own mouth. He says, and of course, we was cursed because we was disobedient, we was wicked inside. That's what he said. God cursed us. But then the story doesn't add up. Where he said, well, Dr. Shabazz started the process, right? Come on, you're going to bring it back to nature. He wasn't bringing it back to nature. Elijah Muhammad said he died the process 50,000 years ago, prepares for this day right time. We have to go through the worst time in our history. That's what Elijah Muhammad taught. Right? So he was the God at the time. So it was a submission. We submitted, right? Okay. So where's disobedience come from? Because he says, well, then obviously we must have been disobedient to Dr. Shabazz. But if we're disobedient, how do we go through the process? It makes no goddamn sense. It doesn't have to be. We're emotional. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to appeal to you. Let's go see this here. This is all right. That's beauty. Natural crown. The God said natural crowns. I wouldn't want that look. Somebody told me, in fact, as I'm 77, right, so my hair's thinning out, right? And it started getting thinner. I ain't happy about that. Right? I like them naps. And excuse me, wasn't the Son of Man, wasn't he supposed to have naps? So I guess he's cursed too, right, Farrakon? See, shit just doesn't add up. Doesn't have to honey. But he's a shit salesman. I couldn't find it again. I looked all over for it. So I don't know where I guess they moved it. There was back in the 80s and 70s, 80s, even in the 90s, right? You could buy a thing called kosher pig feet. Yeah, I've been trying to find that, but I've been looking over the internet. I guess they don't do it anymore. See? So if you want to sell, you put kosher on it, right? Okay, it must be okay. It says kosher. It's like he put Elijah's name on his bullshit. Elijah had nothing to do with this bullshit he's saying. Why not click the $5,000? It's bait. He don't teach a lot of Muhammad's teach no way, no form, no shape, no fashion. That's beauty there. He says ugly. Because God made us ugly because we were so wicked inside. So God brought it out, the wickedness out. So I guess the devil's, they're good inside, so he brought the good. Okay, he hates this. Look at that. This is ugly. He says it. They're ugly because cursed by God with nappy heads. Because they're rebellious nature. These, they're beautiful. Because they love God. Yeah, that's what Farrakon says. He says your children are ugly.
So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area, so he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is the origin of kinky hair, because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrows. The hair on your eyebrows straight. The hair on your head is not the same as the hair on your eyebrow. But the hair of every other people is the same as their eyebrow. Your eyebrow straight, your hair something different. Wouldn't you like the hair on your head to be as straight as the hair on your eyebrow? That's why you so busy frying it. That's why you so busy pulling it. Because your nature tells you that the kink I mean, with I'm black and I'm proud, we got to learn to be proud of kinks. Because most of your family of other black people on the earth, jet black. They didn't have no broad nose and thick lips and kinky hair. They were dark-skinned people, jet black. But they had straight hair, a thinner lip, a thinner nose. But we are marked as a different kind of black person. And we were rejected and despised, not only from the circle of the gods, but we were despised and rejected by all the other dark people of the earth. This is why today black people with kinky hair and broad nose and thick lips are rejected in every society. I want you to hear me well tonight. Yes, sir. Why are we rejected? Because the essence of beauty is in obedience and submission to God. And the essence of ugliness is when you rebel against God. And when you rebel against God, in your rebellion, you are marked with a certain mark of your rebellion, which is the disfigurement, yes, sir, of your internal self, which manifests in the disfigurement of your external self. Yes, and this is why when you look at our people, wherever we are found on the earth, you find us either disfiguring ourselves physically, because we are disfigured on the inside because of rebellion.
Now, what you just heard is total bullshit. Brother Muhammad never taught anything like that. Listen carefully. And see here, you Google this. And where it says to Google? In genetics, DNA, not MFL, MBA, right? DNA. I know you can't spell NFL, NBA, but DNA should have to spell now. I'm spelling it for you. DNA, that's genetics. In genetics, black and brown hair colors are the most dominant. They include brown. They're actually black. Black is more dominant than brown. They include that because they want to somehow throw white folks in there, right? But dark and brown, so you say, and dark brown. I just say brown. Black and dark brown, right? Hair colors are the most dominant. That means the best. That's the code word for best, right? For fair hair texture, curly hair, it is genetically dominant. See, they're talking about the color. They're also talking about the texture. So for hair texture, curly hair is genetically dominant over straight hair. So it's telling you, black hair, black straight hair, black nappy hair, and black, what's the word they use there? Black curly hair is the best. Farrac says in the best. He says a curse. So you gonna believe the science, or you gonna believe in what she's saying? She's coming out his mouth. There's a big science said this is shit. He said, no man, this is honey. What did that science say? Shit. Oh man, let's put that on there. It's really honey. See, so he said, oh, if your father produced the seed, so the seed is the life. Egg just is material that the seed uses to develop itself. So you are what your father is, period. See? So that means Farrakhan, he says his father's a devil, it means he's one too. But he said, no, God made us in the womb. It doesn't matter. So why didn't he sperm and egg for that? See? Because he got some dumbass answer against science. But he tells you he's about science. He's against science. But it tells you right there. He says that's ugly. He said we curse with it. This way, and this is the camping. He says, if you go to Africa, right? He said, you don't find, did he say that? Should I say play it again? You don't find the big nose, all that stuff over there. He's right. And I said earlier. He says, we got over here because but see, it doesn't make sense. If we got, before we came over here, we wasn't rebellion before we came over here, or we got before we got over here. But he said, people in Africa don't have it. So that means we got after got over here. So when our rebellion started, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to add up. But the bottom line is, he says, the people over there, you won't find the big nose and all that kind of stuff, and you don't. A special situation you have it because you had some they was colonizing, right? They was raping women and kind of stuff. They were doing stuff. Now not as bad as here. But here, the problem here is that we got a lot of their genes mixed in with us. They forced it. through our females. See? We got all kinds of problems. I've never seen a black African person, right? And he's moving anything with bald heads. Now, it may be, but I've never seen it. But that's a typical problem with devils. So their seeds mixed in with ours. So in other words, we got those different things that Farrakhan's talking about because of their rebellion, putting their rebellious seed in us, forcing it in us. So it's like Europeans are the worst in the world with eyesight. I said I want to speak to them. I'm going to go ahead and speak to it. The problem is, it doesn't say you're a demon. It just says you got weak eyesight DNA because we got those DNA inside of us. So I never wore glasses. I'm 77 years old. I never wore glasses. See, my children do. So some of them do. Maybe all of them. I don't know. Because we got, like I said, I'm almost positive my mother was a demon. You know, I love my mother. She was a young woman. She passed away. And that's Muhammad's mother's a devil. He don't hide it. That's why he got white skin. So they talk about, oh, they did this survey on thing. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. So it's mind war. So they talk about, well, they did research about a sample of DNA from whites and black. They found there was a lot of white people had black DNA in them. So he said that was surprising. No, it's not surprising. The answer's simple. Because when they was raping our women, some, especially around Louisiana, that's where they had what they call people down there, what do you call them, Creoles or something like that? They was real light. They could pass for white, like Mariah Carey, for instance, right? And so some of them, like they had this one movie called Life something. What was it? Anyway, the woman, she was passed for black. She was passed for white, but she was really black, right? And so they would do that, and a man did it, especially a man did it, right? And he wouldn't tell, he married a white woman, he wouldn't tell that he was really black. He knew his father was black, but he looked white. You know, they say, if you look at this guy, Clark Gable, I didn't know that myself, but Clark Gable, they say he was really a black person. Right? And he was the biggest star back then in the 20s. Right? And everybody thought it was white. And when they found he was black, he was such a big star, they kept it secret. So he was passing, so in other words, your child is black, but he looks white, everybody knows. So therefore, he doesn't know. He hid. His father never told him. So now he's around here, he's really black and don't know it. You got a lot of that. That's what that, but it was, so I was surprised. I'm not surprised. I mentioned that a little bit before. You got a lot of white folks out there, white skin that are really black people don't know it. You got a lot of black skin people out there, white that don't know it. That's the problem. They say only problem is some man can solve. So right there. So Farrakhan, like I said, he house himself, but it doesn't matter. Because it's like you go out eating chitlins. It doesn't matter. It says what it is. Take the seal and put the SD, that's chitlins. And you see the shit floating on the water. And you smell the shit and still eat it. You smell and you still eat it. See? And that's what it said. You don't find white folks eating shit. They don't eat it. You don't find and eat it. They know what it is. They still sell at Walmart. Somebody's buying it. That's the damage they've done to our people. Small brown sisters. Right there. There's a couple right here. Right? Nappy here. Nappy, not so nappy, but nappy. Right? More like here in Somalia or Ethiopia. Right? A little deep, more curlier. Right? That's DNA. It's got this nappy here. What nappy? I think I know these people. I'm gonna find out, see who they are, right? And I don't think they would. I don't think they have a problem. You see, you know what he says? We out here trying to. Hey, nobody's done but the Arabs. We out here trying to change our looks, change our. I know some black folks do that. Remember what what's the name? Venus Sisters or whatever, and Michael Jackson, all that kind of stuff. They probably demons. All the black folks I know in Haiti, I don't see Haiti lighting themselves up and trying to change their hair. That's Farrakhan's bullshit, because he thinks we should be ashamed of having nappy hair because he got straight hair. His time is up. So you can hold on to him if you want to, right? But if you want to hold on to shit, then hold on to it. What happens if you hold on to shit, right? Start smelling like it. No. Black people are the most beautiful people on the planet, especially women. Oh man, damn. But we're so ugly according to him. But doing back in Holocaust, the black woman was the lowest of everything. Had no clothes, no shoes, and anything else. Yet still, white women was trying to be like them. Also, big butt, rouge, lipsticks, painting lips on. See? Fake breasts. That's Farrakhan, but if you hold on to him, if you can't smell the stink by now, then maybe, a homeless person, when they're out there, they really smell the bed and everything, right? They don't smell themselves, they get used to it. If you get close, well, whoa, that's what's happening. See, and Farrakhan, he stinks to high heaven. I can smell him way over here. He don't smell himself. He's used to it. He stinks. He's shit from head to toe, in, through, and out. I smell him. I can smell a demon. They can't smell themselves. They think they smell good. Okay. Now I'm gonna talk about this for a minute, bro. See, I told you it's a mind war. And this thing they got going right now, this so-called, what they call Lego thing. Now this is one of the latest ones. I told you, they infiltrated the rap. They got rid of, hold on. I don't know if I'm doing this on purpose or what. Hold on. This. Now, I watched a couple of these, and they got rid of Tupac and Sister Soldier, right? And those type of people like, what's his name? Gil Scott Heron, most of you don't heard of him unless you, as I am. He was the first original rapper. Get rid of those people, right? Because they know there's two sides to our emotional level, right? There's the music, the beat, boom. You have to have emotion to go there. That's not an intellectual thing. Intellectual say, man, the rhyme is good. That's intellectual. Oh man, he got good rhyme there, man. But the beat, that's emotional. Right? See? And if you have an emotion, you got to start doing some of those things to be saying, man. But you got it. And that's what's happening to a lot of these people. They go out there they listen to music and they go out and do dangerous things because they have an emotion and discipline. You may not realize that. A lot of people go out and do stuff, they hear that stuff and they get all fired up and they end up acting on that bullshit they be hearing. So you got two sides. You got the music itself and then you got the lyrics that goes inside of it. See? And they know that they can take a sandwich, a honey sandwich, and put some shit in it, in the middle of it, and you chow down the honey, you don't even notice the shit. Because they get your shit sandwich, but put honey around so you don't realize. You understand? That's what they did. Because they knew that it was easy to get you the message. They want to get a message to you that you reject right out of hand. They just told you, but they put it in the music, and then you accept it. Like they go out and say, oh, bitch, hoe, and you be, oh, you sister be jumping, bombing. They calling her hoe, bitch, and everything else, man. Hey, man, because she like the beat. But they want to beat there. They said, what you call me that for, man? What you call me nigga for? See? But they put the beat, hey, man, you nigga, hoe, man, jug, dealer, man. And you remember to it. That's one of the tricks. And we haven't put on to it. See? So what they did was, like, but with Tupac, see, they gave the beat, but they gave real sandwich. It was honey, but there was some beef in it. There wasn't no shit in it, right? So there's some nutrients in it. It was sweet, but it has nutrients in it. That's what Tupac gave his sister Soldier. Because, you know, Bill Clinton wanted to sit down with Sister Soldier. That was a beautiful sister. That sister, boy, she was hard. She was hardcore, right? And Bill Clinton told, oh, you got to sit down. She's advising to them, you know, and people went along with that, even the so-called demons, and they shut sit down. I don't know what happened to her. She around anymore, right? And they got rid of Tupac because he had a message in this, right? He had some beef in that honey sandwich. But they put shit in the honey sandwich, so you still eat it because they liked it. You liked it, right? Because all the bread's made of honey. I mean, you like the honey. And you don't realize you're eating the shit that's inside of it. And that's what's happening. That's what happened to music. Because now, the music, the rap is just messed up. I don't know if there's any good stuff out there at all. I don't listen to it, right? But you like, oh man, the way, you know, and talking strong and powerful. Okay? So now they got this thing, this Lego thing. It's all bullshit. Let me give you a couple examples. I'm gonna have to cut this short, brothers and sisters. Give you a couple examples. This one about Africa. Now in Africa, they're saying this whole thing, and now if you listen to it carefully, what they're saying is that our own people sold us into slavery. So you really can't blame white, and you can't blame white folks, because if we black folks, like say for instance, you go buy cigarettes and you give it to your children. Well, wait a minute. You can't blame me for buying cigarettes and they sell it. You allow them to sell it. So you can't blame for buying it. You said it's for sale. So they said that the Africans, they put their own tribes, put people up for sale. And so white folks who went there, they was for sale, so we just bought them. Where's the goddamn lie? So it was, because better remember, we the Africans, it was our brothers did so. We put ourselves in slavery. That's what we're trying to say. We enslaved ourselves. All people enslaved themselves. That's what we're trying to say. But man, that's legal. That's real history. You gotta say it right. It's bullshit. See? He forget. The Arabs was just much slave trade as the Europeans are. The only difference with them is they enslaved black folks. They still doing it right now in Libya. Libya has slave markets. They're going and catching black slaves and sell them into Arabia. They're doing it right now. And they know they do it, but they don't hear about me saying anything about it. Because they stabilized Libya, right? But the thing is that they try to tell you, I said, we do that to ourselves. So the point is that and then we ain't about hate, about love. See, that's that Christianity thing. Oh, the point is, what he's trying to tell you, it sounds like he's tough, right? If you listen, see, we don't wait things. We just take it out. He's telling us that we slaved ourselves. We did ourselves. White folks, we was just a product. They bought us. See, and said if it wasn't for black folks selling us, that would never happen. That's what he's saying there. It sounds like, man, they rocking, man. They talking about black folks, right? Black and Africans, black Americans applied to Africa. Using Lego about the slave trade. That's all bullshit there. And like I said, the Arabs was the big slave traders themselves. You know, they had the pirate ships. Those pirate ships talk about. They said it was gold, and bullshit. It was to attack slave ships and take the slaves. The Arabs was one of the biggest slave traders, as much as, and not only that, but Genesis tell you that fire, that what I forget they said the ring of fire, so that the Adam and Eve couldn't get back to the tree to block the tree. Well, that's supposed to be the Arabs. They're supposed to keep, because they had the bridge between Africa and Asia, and the Europeans knew nothing about Africa. They had to go through that bridge to get to there, and so the Arabs is one that took them into Africa and showed them how to get us. Because if you watch that original movie Roots, it showed you that there was a guise that white folks get into Africa. They betrayed us, took our lands, all those lands they have right now, Morocco, Egypt, Tunisia, that was our lands. They saw us in slavery and took our lands. But they don't mention any of that in there. Nothing about the African Asian slave trade. Nothing about the trade slave. Nothing about it. They don't mention any of that. And white folks off the hook because they was just, they was for sale. So what you blame us for? They sold themselves. You want to sell, hey, I walk around, you want to sell me your son, you want to sell me your son, I just bought him, you sold him. What you mad at me for? If you didn't want, you put him to sell, so I bought him. I did you a favor. You want to make some money, so I mean, see, it's bullshit. And then on top of that, no mention of false Israel, who financed the slave trade. That's a fact. The angel tells you that. Even Farrakon tells you that in his book. They financed it. They were just guilty as the rest of them. They financed the ships and everything else. No mention of that. It was just we enslaved ourselves. Who do you think putting this stuff out there? Who do you think fighting this stuff? See? That's them. And they get some Negro butt to say that stuff. May get AI do it. But they don't need Negro butt. He's rocking. And if you listen to it, you see that's what they're saying. They're saying it's our fault that we slaves. We sold ourselves in slavery. Our own people do it. And white folks, they was just traders, and they used for sale. No mention about the Arabs and sold us out, traders, helped them get us. They were big slave trade themselves. Yes, they enslaved us, and what they would do is they go a little step further, because the men would castrate them, turn them into eunuchs, then have them watch over their women, the black women they was raping, call them concubines. The only one thing they did is that if they had a child, male child, it was a female child, when they buried it. It was a male child, they did consider that male child their son. That's one thing you can't say about it. They consider, because you go there right now, you got a lot of black over there, right? And look at Ben Salman, whatever his name is. See, he got a dark complexion. His mother's probably black. So he did do that. Otherwise, but no mention at all. Now look at the other one over here. We're talking about economics. Oh, blacks, $1.8 trillion worth of economics in this country, and they don't have any. They only the actual value is about $20,000 a year for an average black person. Where white people is about $180,000 a year. Oh, they all this stuff, the economic war that they're applying against black people. He said, all the numbers, all about economics. How they made money off us, slave trade, all about economics. The whole idea is about economics, right? And then they get down to the point where it says, well, and I think I got it found right, the COTEL program, I think I'm saying it right, so I'm going to remember it right. I think it says FBI COINTEL program. They get down to that. And they say, yeah, it's documented. It says the FBI COINTEL, they were going to target blacks. They were going to target blacks, because it's all about economics, right? And so they target ACP, they target Black Panther. What? Black Panther wasn't about economics, and neither was ACP. ACP was about integration. Black Panther is about revolution. The one that has the only organization that was attacking them economically and successfully was NOI. No mention of it. No mention of NOI at all. The FBI, we got documents that they said they were focused on the NOI. But no mention of that. Oh, it was the NACP and the Black Panthers. See, but the whole thing is about economics. And they had nothing to do with economics. Their programs are nothing about economics. You see? So who's writing this stuff? I told you, it's a mind war. And so you getting this and you bopping to it. And that's real history, man. That's really what's going on. And so he got a black voice, man. So you rocking with that. You probably talking with that kind of bullshit. Right? And anybody hate, man. It's about love. It's about God's love. He loves to burn your ass up if you don't do what he tells you to do. This God loves shit, man. You better read that scripture again. I'm gonna show you a couple of quotes in a minute. But see, I'm saying, it's mine. And they play like all these movies. I tell my wife, I say, you know, we watch a movie or two on the weekends, right? We sit down, right? Oh yeah. I sit down and spend some time with my wife. And I'm not gonna tell you what to do. What I do. She's part of me, and said she want to do that. I'm not gonna argue with her. So what she want to do, I said, I watch it. I don't fall asleep either. Right? I put a movie on that I might be interested. Snoring like 5 minutes. She like those girly movies, so that's what we watch. The black ones. But, you know, anyway. So that's me. So if you have a problem, they're fine. But I'm not working with my wife, and I told her she leave, I'm leaving with her. Okay? Tell you, the women are heaven. And you better translate that what that means. Because your heaven is everything you live for, everything you aspire to. The heaven is your God. That's where you hope to meet in heaven, God. Well, when you meet your wife and she gets you in heaven, that's who you met. She's the God that you're going to meet. When you get your ass out of here, get your ass, head out your ass, and get away from these devils, and get home and give her security, and give her a land, and take care of her, and admire her, and reach over and fight for her like you're supposed to, then you're going to find out who God is. See? And you're going to love it. See? It's not story together, but it's our heaven. What do you want to put in your heaven? Did God give birth to you, or did she? Oh boy. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to be able to finish all this, brothers and sisters. See, we got to understand, read these things carefully. Because it doesn't say what you think it says. See, that's why you got to start thinking intellectually and thinking mathematics. You got to apply mathematics this. It said, your seed, what's your seed? All the nations by thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Right? So how are they blessed? Blessing is giving somebody your energy. You break down to this fundamental thing, you're giving others your energy. In other words, they're getting your energy. Whether you give it to them, they're taking it, right? So you get hung up on the word bless. See, they're blessed. In other words, they have energy because of you. In other words, they're blessed because of you, because your energy. Your energy. Look at it simply, black and white. Because your energy, they're blessed. So how does that mean? What does that translate to? How did America get blessed? Off our energy. Holocaust, slavery, oppression, 24/7 for hundreds of years. That's how they got blessed. That's how they got started. How as far as Israel getting blessed? Because they claim they're us. Oh, you got, if you bless Israel, you get blessed, because you get cursed. So we're Israel, so you got blessers. There it is, blessing. How as far as Arabia getting blessed? They got land. That's our resources, all stuff they selling. That's ours. That's our land. It tells you right in the Abrahamic covenant between the river Euphrates and river Egypt, which is Arabia. He has some clients about that's symbolic. That really means what river? Except some river in America. Ooh, when it gets all that, that's how he blessed. And how Farrakhan blessed? Because he's ripping off Nation of Islam. He claiming he's speaking like Muhammad's tea. He's not. So all the offerings and tilth, like it says in Malachi, is going in his pocket. He ain't built a goddamn thing. The economic program for 40 years, 40, have you produced anything? Where's the money going that he begging for? It's going his pocket. You see, he ain't produced anything? Has he produced anything? Have he produced any hospitals? Have he produced any banks? Have he produced any factories? Have he produced any farmland? Have he produced any goddamn thing? No, but the money's in his pocket. That's how he's blessed. He's blessed off ripping off the Nation of Islam, claiming he's teaching a lot of Muhammad's teachings. And then you got India and China. How they blessed? They blessed off the industrial and the AI that they get from America. America give their industry and gave the AI. They got it from America. They didn't get it from themselves. And why did they get it? Who developed it? We did. That's our ingenuity. It tells you right in there. It says, no, y'all can't make bricks out of straw anymore. You got to be creative. You still better make bricks, but you better use something else. It's telling you right there, we the creative factor. And that's a fact. We can prove it. And they took and gave it to them because they didn't want us to get the fruit. If you're creative, that means you're the seed that you plant. So if you plant a seed in the ground and a tree grows, shouldn't you get the fruit of the tree that you planted? So the fruits of, because no European country has been inventive and innovative as America. Why? Because we're here. How come Germany is not innovative? How come France ain't? How come England? How come all come out of here? AI and industrial and all that kind of stuff come out of here. Because we're here. It's come out of our minds. Like all the music. What music dominates the planet? The Chinese ching chong. That dominate the planet? The French music dominate the planet? No, our music do. That means that we're the gods. It's our emotional, because the atmosphere represents our emotional condition. That means we're the gods of the planet. That should tell you that right there. It's our music. We're the lowest on the earth, but yet still the earth is jamming and bopping to our music. Our emotional, we're on an emotional plane now, but it bops to our music, the whole world. You see him playing Chinese music over here? If it is, it's Americanized, it's blackenized. That proves right there that we're the gods, because we own the atmosphere. The atmosphere reflects our emotion, not theirs. Show me some Chinese music that you bopping to. Show me some French music you bopping to. That doesn't have a black tone to it. See? So America no country does that. If you got a military, why would you take and shift the factories that build your bombs and guns and stuff to another country? That was stupid. Because man, they can shut you off. All you gotta do is stop giving you ammunition and stuff, and then you dead. But they did that to China. That's how China became powerful. But they didn't want you to have it. They want to shut down Detroit. They want you to have the fruit of your ingenuity. Same thing AI. They try to say, India is going along with America. See, they don't tell you the background. Why India is going along with America? Because they got millions of Indians here, and if they don't, America say they got to ship their ass back to India, and that means all that money they're making won't go back there. That's what they tell you. They don't tell you the background behind that. That's why India going along with America, because they got all these millions of Indians here, getting that knowledge and getting that money, sending it back to India. So Trump said, if you don't go along with me, I'm going to send them all back home. Oh, they don't want that. That's what the bottom line on that is. Anyway, and what we got nothing. So who are the true steps? That proves we're true saving him, because everybody's got rich off of us. They blessed off of us. Using our name, our ingenuity, our nation, our land, ingenuity. Got all of it. We got nothing. That's what we're getting. That's match. I'm getting ready. That's what this war is about right now. Change all that around. That's what this war is about right now. To shut this, the source of this whole world. What's the source of all this? Oil. That fuels this whole reality. You're ready to shut it down. This place will go black in a minute. That's out. Boom. Yeah. In a few more days, because they know they're going back to war. This is the final one, the final battle. And they're going to shut the lights out. Then they're going to say, people sit in darkness, and you're going to see a great light. That's the angel light, because it said, people said time right there, light's about to go out. That's going to shut this whole light. So if light is what takes you, or you need light to move around, you stop moving around. The economy shuts down. They shut it all down. The economy shut down all over the planet. All over the fucking planet. The lights shut down. That's what's up. They tell you it's an economic plan. It's a global thing. Never seen anything like this before. It's a global thing. And Iran's going to shut it down. And that's why Muhammad, Michael and his angels, he's behind it. They shut this whole thing down. And that's what's fueling their power over you. Shut down. And then you're going to see a great light. The only light. And then you're going to, because it was darkness and and there's a light, everybody cleans that light. That's what's about to happen. They shut it down. All over the planet, light's about to go out. And when it goes out, then you're going to have the only light. You're going to have the only light. Think about that, see? See how simple this is? You're going to have the only light. Everybody's going to be stuck around in the darkness. You're going to have the only light. That's if you open your eyes. You have the only light in the planet. It's a battle between the spring and the winter. Can winter survive in a war against the spring? Come out the winter season, never go in the spring. Because you're going to have the only light. Now I'm going to shut it down, right? And the engine, right? See? You're going to let it shut it down, right? Then you got this lamp over here. Right? That's the only light. He's going to turn up the heat. That's my son. I'm well pleased. Like the big lights. Because right now it's like candlelight. Imagine people said, I said a great light. All of a sudden, boom! You don't have light. But everybody gonna see you, but they don't have any light. Right? They're gonna see it. They're gonna try to put your light out. Try to put your light out. It's about to happen, brothers and sisters. Oh, ain't there now? No day lights gonna go out. Right? It's the last battle. They're gonna take control, fuse the lights, refuse the lights. Well, and then Iran. Let me say no. I'm gonna close out, bro. Since I can't finish it. See, I keep talking about wavelength and frequency. Okay. If right now, say for instance, you had a division of Americans, right? And somehow they got transported back into 2,000 years ago to Rome. They got guns, they got tanks, they got airplanes. And maybe it's just 1,000 of them. They're going to rule the world. Because they operate on higher wave and frequency than that. Low, high pressure overcomes low pressure. No matter how small the low pressure higher is, if it's higher pressure overcomes low pressure. That's just the way it is. And so what happened is that Iran, I told you also about, moving aggressors, but not only that. But see, Iran, remember, they're technical. They're like Master Muhammad. And the Son of Man is spatial. Right? But they're on high wavelength frequency than those. So that's why little old Iran is kicking America's ass. America doing about. I keep telling you, that's what it was. Nothing that America can do to help destroy them because they operate on a higher frequency wavelength. Their power, their strength, their pressure is greater. And the same thing with the angel. They can't touch me. They already told it. Just tell me, says, you don't have to worry about anything. Because angels are high wavelength frequency. Once you start moving that level, the less and less, the more and more power you have over them. So that's what's happening with it. And so they cannot win. But remember, the winner, we're talking about personification, they win the people. And so the spring coming in, that means all their power is melting. Because their power is in snow, ice, all that kind of stuff is all melting. But they want to hold on to power. That's the point about personification, right? So if it just snows, snow just melts. But if it's personification of snow, hey man, I'm melting, man. I want to stop melting. Okay, I gotta keep it cold. So it's a fight between the winter and the spring. It's a battle between the winter and the spring. It's a battle. And winter cannot win. But it's going to try. And the last gaps is try to blow up the spring if it can, and with the personification of spring. We have the personification of summer, but that's, you can go with the spring for now. It's happening, brothers and sisters. And when you look at that from a point of view, right, you got transition from winter. The spring is a transition point between winter and summer, right? 6,000 years, guys. 24,000 years. That's why 24,000 years for the Earth axis to be a complete turn. So that means 4 seasons of 6,000 years. That's why it's 6,000 years. We come to the worst winter ever. But now move to spring. We're summer people. But spring is transition between, spring is good. It's not as good as summer, but it's good. It's better than winter. So now we got a spring God. He's half summer and half winter. Right? The dominant side is the summer side. And he's fighting the winter, the war between it, destroy, and he's going to be successful because the winter cannot stand against the spring. It's a whole new wavelength, a whole new frequency. But now the resistor, I should have showed that here. That's how I was going to do it. I forgot. The resistor would be someone who's, remember, he's transitioning you from the winter into the summer. He's a transition point. And he'll rule 6,000 years. And then, like Elijah Muhammad said, then we turn back over to Dr. Shabazz. Right? So he's a transition God. That's why it's half spring, half winter, half summer. The good half is summer. It's original. But you got somebody that's going to resist the transition period. They don't want to see summer come in. They don't want to see spring come in. That's Farrakhan. He's half winter, half summer too. But his mother is, right? He's a devil with black skin. So he'd be opposing everything Muhammad does. Get it? He's opposing all the lessons, everything in Muhammad, he's opposing it. That's a simple analogy. Okay, I'm going to close out and I'm going to show my thing back, sisters. You're in heaven. Here. Great battle. So you got a technical, remember, you got analytical. Analytical is a technical side. Being it is. The B is the creative side. Then somebody got an idea, that's the B, and then somebody take it to make it happen. That's the technical side, analytical side. That's why right now we separate the B and it is, but for all the time the God was the one it is was the B and it is. But now we see just like the male and female, we separate it and have male and female genders. Same thing is. So now we have the creative, that's the Son of Man. He's a spatial. We got the technical. That's from Muhammad. That's why you got the two things. Said he would come this will that nobody could touch because he's super technical. The Lamb would come with a book that nobody could touch. It's totally spatial. And they work together. You understand? So right now, over here, you got Suleiman battling on the spatial level and kicking her ass. Resonance. Because you can see all this stuff that come up is trying to resist. What I'm saying, all of a sudden, stuff they weren't saying before. And on the technical side, they're kicking their ass on the technical side over here. So the people sitting in darkness, they're going to kick off the technical side, going to put the world in the darkness. They're the same. They said what's happening is going to cause the whole world to go into darkness. Space side, right? He's going to give his people a great light. People said in darkness is a great light. Now you see the two pieces together, brothers and sisters? I say so much I can tell you about the angel, but It's beautiful to me. See if I can get him more close out. It's about to explode.
Oh, and I keep telling people this, watch out. When we collapse, we're going to collapse with a loud, loud bang, and people's lives are going to be ruined. It's not going to just be $8 a gallon at the pump. It's going to be you can't afford anything. You can't even afford to eat. You can't afford to have a roof over your head. You certainly can't afford all those things you've been thinking about, like a college education for your children and so forth. That's where we're headed. And we're doing it to ourselves.
Nearly in tears. Okay, brothers and sisters, let it play out, but any day now, that's why I'm going to shut the lights out. Put the world in total darkness. The only light there's going to be is the angel. And you're going to have it. That's if you open your eyes to get it. See? And you're going to be the light of the world. See? Because they're going to see you and they're going to attack you. Because now they know that you're the only light. Their light is out. Christianity, Buddhism, all that stuff is gone. All those lights are set out. That's what I mean. Darkness, because those are lights, those are stars. Those fake religions. Only religion is going to be this one. It's not even religion. And you're going to have it. People said darkness is a great light. The dark has to come first. And he's going to fuse it. All the economies of the world is going to shut down. That's what Matt's going to do. Going to take control of the whole Middle East. The entire Middle East. Shut it down. Total darkness. Light will shine the brightest. But you be sitting in darkness when you get it. If you sit in darkness, you're going to sit in the dark when you get it. When you get great light, that's the light is going to get you to tribulation. High wavelength frequency, where they won't be able to touch you because you operate in a high wavelength frequency. That's if you got your emotion under control. Total discipline. Something like that. The word Farrakon, 11 devils on it. This is what he has to say.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides. Yes, sir, Brother Minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, Brother Minister. That's real. When we was alive, we set up schools.
Right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets. We owned buildings. We owned farmlands. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass. In a nice car, in a nice home. I got all of that too. I ain't robbed nobody.
That's right.
I love you. I love you because God loves you and wants to free you from the grip of Satan that we may build a righteous world. and Father Plager will be in that righteous world. You can believe it. He's a true servant of Jesus the Christ. Thank you for listening.
Let me speak to this, brother, since I forgot about this. It's about love, 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 right? What's love, devils, and all that kind of stuff. What about this, brothers and sisters? See, you got to read this carefully. He's not saying love. He says use that as a weapon. If you understand how how things work, right? Because every action has opposite react. Understand consequence. That's why you got to apply mathematics to it. It's telling you that you got to start adding these things up. I'm talking about personification, right? We have if you personify the winter, that means the weather won't be cold. The people will be cold because they're the personification of it. If you personify the winter, then like right now, if you live in California, if you say you live in 50 years ago, right? You live in California or Florida. Say, well, hell, we're in winter, ain't winter down here because it's not the weather, it's the people. We personify it's the people. It's still, you might have warm weather and stuff, but it's not the weather anymore because you personify the weather. So it's the people. So the people's still cold. It's still cold. Icy. You understand? So if you we personify the its deprivation, that's the devils. So therefore, when spring comes, right, they represents the winter. If we get rid of them, we don't get rid of the weather, get rid of them because they personify it. You understand? That's why the war is between them. Not against the weather, between them because they represent the weather, the personification of the weather. Once they're gone, the winter's gone because they're the ones that was cold to us. They was the ones that inflicted us, not the weather, them. If we hadn't made them, they would have been inflicted by the weather. We'd have famine and everything else. If you understand that principle. So that's what that's doing here. And I know you're catching it because it says, if that enemy be hungry, give him bread. And eat to eat. And give him thirsty, give him what? In other words, don't fight him. They still won't get it. For thou heap coals of fire upon their heads, and Lord shall reward thee. In other words, somebody take $1 million from you, right? So you can take $1 million bread, that's consequence. That's right? Every action, opposite reaction is justice. What if you don't take $1 million from them? Well, they got $1 million they supposed to have, so they're gonna have $1 million for trouble someplace else. But you're gonna get, now you have $1 million with a positive energy because they took away from you, you're gonna get it someplace else. See, that's just saying you ain't getting direct from them. So they still getting the consequence, you still getting the reward, you still getting your money back, you just ain't getting it from them. And they still paying it back, but they ain't paying it back to you. They still paying it back because they got doctor bills, cancer, whatever. You understand? But that's why you got to understand, read this in mathematically. So it says, in this situation, to submit to them. So submit, don't fight them. So that's just, so by us just doing whatever they want, they wasn't getting away with it. See? You're heaping coals of fire upon their head. That means it's building up. That say it was damming up. They're still gonna get it. That says do double them. Let me say this one last thing. You know, I went over this about 15 years ago, I guess. Anyway, went over to FARRACON'S place. See what they was doing. I wasn't following FARRACON. I went over there. It's about 6 months over there. And one time they had those study groups, and they didn't have a. I mean, and I'm telling you, they don't have a mosque. They talking about mosque. They don't have any places. They got very. I think the whole state of Florida. They got one down in Miami now. The one in Tampa dried up. The one in Orlando dried up. I don't know how big the one in Miami is, right? And so and they had like there was like a little trailer that some schools let them have at night. Little kindergarten trailer school, and so at night they could use it for when they had their meetings. And they had little kindergarten chairs, and they were so small. And you had to kind of like grease yourself to get into the chair. If you stay and if you that grease well, they had to cut you out of the chair because it was so damn small. And they only had about 10, 15 people in there. That was the whole group. And most of them, was just visiting with them. And they was, and this whole thing is indoctrination because they don't have anybody teaching. They get, Farrakhan got something he wrote down, they pass around, everybody's got to recite what he said. It's indoctrination. That's like, turn the line, Farrakhan. So one time it came up, I think, about something about doing them as they've done to us, says in Revelations, right? I think what, chapter 18? Doing them double is done to you. It's not a suggested command. Because we're the personification of it, so we had to flick them. But it said, vengeance mine, says the Lord. So if the Lord turns it, then you must be the Lord. Anyway, the bottom line is, Farrakhan, people say, no, we can't do that. Farrakhan, we can't be double and done to us. We can't be like that. Why do they say that? Because he's one of them. He speaks for them, don't do anything to us. Protect us, we forgive us. We ain't forgive you a goddamn thing. God said he ain't forgive. He says, I come with vengeance. Vengeance mine, says the Lord, I will repay. But they keep telling you forgive. Why? Why keep teaching that? They know what they done to you. And if you're coming in power, they don't want you to do them what they done. They don't want to see the consequence of what they did. That's the bottom line. And so when you read this, they tell you, oh, the way they tell the church, like you just gotta be good to them no matter what they do. No, it says that's the result. You just ain't doing it themselves, but they're receiving the consequence of what they're doing. That's what it said. They read this top part, they don't read the bottom part. Or they don't interpret it properly. Ain't talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness, there's no saying it's absolute forgiveness. If you do something, you will receive the consequence from it. The bottom line is how can you avoid it? If you steal $1 million from me, you're going to steal, it takes something you're supposed to take, right? Then you got to give $1 million back. You're going to have a negative consequence. Now you can repent and give me $1 million back real quick before you free the consequence. That's why you call Jesus kept saying repent. That means pay it back before you get hit. Because you're gonna get hit. If you don't have to give $1 million back to me, get somebody else. Give me that $1 million that you ain't supposed to have. That's what repent is. So the only ones who want to forgive these devils are the devils themselves. The only one to forgive these devils is the devils themselves. But that can't happen. Not be forgiven, definitely won't be forgiven to me. And God says, I come to judge them. See, if they're trying to tell you, no, please don't. Jesus said, don't, okay. Leave it there, brother. So that's what I'm going
Beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest practices in all the religions is prayer. The form and style of prayer varies from faith to faith, but prayer is universal. There is no religious community that does not pray. No prophet of God that did not pray. Abraham prayed. Noah prayed. Moses prayed. David prayed. Joseph prayed. Jesus prayed. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prayed. Master Fard Muhammad prays.
So long till they don't know the birth record. So they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through. Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong, but he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days. I was there for 3 days. And in the 3 days that I was there, wrangling with the scholars, we talked about this. And when I finished explaining, the heaviest scholars there didn't bother to argue. They had to go away and study it. And what we don't realize is God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And what you're doing, you are following those that God wants to put you over. The Arab is a good person, basically. They've done a wonderful job in keeping the book of God pure. And we are grateful to them for so doing. But they messed up. It's your turn now. And God will see how you act. But you're not to follow Arabs. You're to lead them. And you can't lead them following them. See, they like to see you imitating them. Just like white Christians want to see black Christians imitating them. We're not to follow white people today. They had their day of rule, and their day of rule is up. That's all. God is going to replace them with a new ruler. And whether you like it or not, the new ruler is black. He have hair like lamb's wool, and he has feet like burnished brass. And if y'all can't take a black leader, then you might as well get off the planet.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups, bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore. Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
hurtful. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing cry to return to their native land and people. You here today cry to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land, turning it back towards our own prison house, enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Expectancy. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their arms 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own nation for yourself. After the white man say you are free. Remember that. We want an equal education so that you will know better. But separate schools up to 16 for the boys and 18 for girls, on the condition that the girls be sent to women's colleges and universities. We want all of our black children educated, taught, and trained by their own teachers. Under such schooling system, we believe we will make a definition of our people. The United States government should provide free for all. Unless the necessary textbooks and equipment for schools and colleges. We believe that is nothing but right and justice that they should build schools and colleges and universities and everything necessary to equip them for the teachings and trainings that we so miserably need and desire. There must teachers shall be left free to teach them and train our people in the way of righteousness and the way of peace and self-respect. We believe that intermarriage race mixing should be prohibited between the two races. We want the religion of Islam for our people, and we want it taught to our people without injuries or suppression. These are some of the things that we believers in Islam is true religion of entire submission. We are called Muslims of entire submission. We are called Muslims. We who have submitted ourselves to do the will of Almighty God. We are the people that want nothing other than righteousness. And we are the people that want to leave America for our own self-income. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
And the messenger listened, his jaws tightened, and then he looked and he said, yes, he's getting the fame. so that when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. I'm telling you what he said. I died at the table. I mean, it was like he had taken a spark and drove it right through my heart. I couldn't understand why he said it. I didn't know why he would say something like that to me. I was faithful to him in my own way, I thought. I was obedient to him in my own way, I thought. Why would he say that to me? It is because he knew tomorrow better than I knew yesterday. And I lived through yesterday and don't know what tomorrow is, but that man saw tomorrow. He was the most perfect guy that ever could come to a people, brother and sister. But we blew it, man, because we so hateful of our black selves that we didn't believe that God would dare take a black man and not only make him a messenger, but more than a messenger, deposit in the man himself and make a God out of him for you and me. Now listen, brother, I'm not playing here. That man, Elijah Muhammad, is the most profound individual you will ever meet. I don't give a doggone if you live to be a million. And those of us that walk with him in faithlessness, walk with him in doubt and in suspicion of his divinity, know it better now than we ever knew it while he was among us. We know it now. Look, and I say this with deep humility, man, it pains me to open myself up and see a hypocrite laying inside. But look, how else can a man be healed unless he's opened up to the light and the thing that is in him that is not pleasing to God be removed? You understand? Now here's the messenger looking at me, and because Malcolm told me that the messenger was jealous, and members of the messenger's family had dropped it out that the messenger was jealous, I began to entertain the thought because I couldn't see the future. Now listen, I fought it off, but it was there. Hear this now, beloved. One day in New York, 70,000 people came out to hear the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is the largest gathering of black people, really, I think, in the history of our sojourn in America, to listen to a black man teach wisdom. And this ain't no play. I was so overjoyed, I went to the messenger and I said to him, the apostle, there were 70,000 people. And back in, again, 3 months later, we did it again, and 40,000 came out on a Sunday afternoon to hear a lecture in Randall's Island. And you know, when I was so exultant, you may use the word cocky, you may use the word vain, self-centered, whatever you want to say. When God gives you success, you better learn how to handle it, or that thing will destroy you. And I didn't know how to handle what God was bringing to me. And I'm just being very frank and honest. And this is not negative, but it's so good to understand how merciful God is. He brings you up and show you the power that can come to you, but he knows you can't handle it. He'll drop you right back down and then bring you up in humility so that whatever he gives you, you'll be able to handle it well. Now look, beloved, when I was telling the messenger about this 70,000 and this 40,000, you know what he said to me? He got real sad, and he said, you know, brother, the time is coming when you may go to the temple, and there may not be one believer there but yourself. Couldn't believe it. I said, we got 7,000 Muslims in New York. And here's 70,000 people out there reaching for his teaching. How could I go to the temple and there be no believer there? I didn't know what he knew. I didn't know.
That they fear. I don't have no army. I just know the truth. And I'm here to separate the good Jews from the satanic Jews. Yes, yes, yes. This is just the beginning, standing me from a social platform. I use that platform with respect. I never allowed those who follow me to become vile as those who speak evil of us. So I am dangerous, not to you, unless you feel that Father Pfleger's invitation to me may hurt Saint Sabina. They don't have the power to hurt Saint Sabina if you don't give them that power. I thank you for listening to me. I have not said one word of hate. I do not hate Jewish people. Not one that is with me has ever committed a crime against the Jewish people, black people, white people, no matter what your color is. As long as you don't attack us, we don't bother you. So you met me tonight. Social media, you met me tonight. I plead with the rulers, let the truth be taught. I plead because this is the only thing that will make America not great again, make America truly great. If you allow me to tell the truth that God has revealed to his servant, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that he taught me, we can save America from her destructive fall. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a homophobe. Don't be angry with me if I stand up on God's word. But I don't hate my brothers and sisters who have been exposed to the great deception. Taking the word God is love, and I love my brother. In fact, we kissed when I came up here. And, this is not queer. This is straight up love. So from tonight, go home. I'm not going to ask you to let them put you in jail, what they call Facebook jail. We have a teaching about the maker of the white race. His followers were put in jail. I wonder, is it Facebook jail? And everywhere they looked, there was another one. Till all the jails got filled up. And that's when the president said, I think I better go and start a dialogue with FARRACON'S. Because this false mess to give you civil rights and take it back, you owe us. And I'm here, by God's permission, to tell all of you what justice looks like. It's not a white woman, a TV show, and a nice car, and a nice home. I got all of that too. I ain't robbed nobody.
That's right.
I love you. I love you because God loves you and wants to free you from the grip of Satan, that we may build a righteous world. And Father Plager will be in that righteous world. You can believe it. He's a true servant of Jesus the Christ. Thank you for listening. When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides. Yes, sir, Brother Minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, Brother Minister. Both sides. That's real. When we was alive, we set up schools.
Right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets. We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. $5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagger as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground in unity. So I'm only one shade lighter than you. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family. Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
(1713) On the ship Henrietta Marie, chained Africans crossed the Atlantic with no room to stand. Many died before land appeared. Their bodies were thrown into the ocean behind the ship. The ocean saw.
Listen to this closely.
This happened to your bloodline.
This was planned for profit.
Your ancestors still survived it.
The water was your ancestors' land. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Many never touched land alive. You are here because they refuse to die quietly.
Yeah. From the 1500s to the 1800s, European ships crossed West Africa, Portugal, Britain, Spain, France, and the Netherlands built this trade. They bought and kidnapped African people for labor in the Americas. Historians estimate that 10 to 12 million Africans survived the crossing. Millions more died before reaching shore. People were taken from Angola, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, and Congo. Many were marched hundreds of miles to slave ports and chains. At ports like Elm in the Castle and Bonnie, families were separated forever. The crossing became known as the Middle Passage. Ships packed human beings below deck like cargo. Some ships held more than 400 people at once. The British ship books became famous for how tightly people were packed. Men, women, and children were chained together for weeks or months. Many could not sit upright. Disease spread fast in the heat below deck. Dysentery, fever, dehydration, and starvation killed thousands. Women were sexually abused by crew members during the voyage. Some captives jumped into the ocean rather than live in slavery in 1781. The crew of the slave ship sung through more than 130 Africans into the sea for insurance money. The owners went to court demanding payment for the murdered people. Olaudah Equiana wrote about the smell, the change, and the screaming in his 1789 book. Your ancestors lived through organized torture, created for money.
Do not look away from what your ancestors came by. In the water, remember your ancestors' name. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Many never touched land. You are here because they refuse to die quietly.
Yeah. The Middle Passage helped build the economies of Europe and America. Sugar plantations in the Caribbean depended on slave labor. Cotton plantations in the American South depended on slave labor. Banks, shipping companies, and insurance firms made fortunes from slavery. Cities like Liverpool and Bristol grew rich from slave voyages in the United States. Slavery expanded after the invention of the cotton gin in 1793. By 1860, nearly 4 million enslaved black people lived in America. Congress banned the importation of enslaved Africans in 1808. But slavery continued inside the country. Children were still stowed away from parents at auctions. Black families were still whipped, branded, and controlled by force. The Civil War ended legal slavery in 1865 with the 13th Amendment. But black Americans, they faced black codes, lynching, segregation, and voter suppression. In 1896, Plessy v. Ferguson legalized segregation across America. Redlining in the 1900s, blocked many black families from owning homes. Many schools still the full truth about the slave ship. Some people want this history forgotten because it exposes how wealth was built, but your ancestors survived oceans, chains, disease, and violence. They protected those names, birth, language, and family through terror. Every black child alive today stands on the survival of those people. That survival is proof that the system did not erase your bloodline.
Ancestors survived the cross.
Teach your children what the Middle Passage was.
Do not let anybody turn this history into silence.
Your ancestors survived one of the cruelest systems ever created.
Stand tall when you remember them.
The water still remembers.
Now you do too.
1500 to the 1860s. 12.5 million Africans were forced on the ships. Almost 2 million died in the water before they ever touched land. This is the crossing. They call it the Middle Passage.
Stop. Put everything down. What I am about to tell you is the truth. It is yours, and no one can take it back. Remember what they tried to drown.
They built the ship to break you.
And you did not break.
2 million stayed in the sea.
And still you are here.
You are alive.
Because they refuse to die.
It started on the coast of West Africa. Ports like Elmina and Ghana, the Bight of Benin, the Bight of Biafra. From around 1500 to 1866, 12.5 million people were captured and sold. The Portuguese began it, then the British, the French, the Dutch, the Spanish, the Royal African Company of England branded people with ain't even children. On the ship, all the brokes, they packed over 400 human beings below deck. People were chained side by side, lying in their own waste. No room to sit up. The crossing took 6 weeks to 3 months to cross the Atlantic. There was no clean water, no air, no light. Sickness in every corner. Dysentery, smallpox, and starvation killed them in the dark. About 1.8 to 2 million people died at sea on that journey. The crew threw the dead and they're still breathing over the side. Sharks followed the ships across the entire ocean. This was not an accident. It was business. This was the plan.
Put everything down. What I'm about to tell you is the truth. No one can take it back. The water remembers what they tried to drown.
They built this ship to break you.
And you did not break.
2 million stayed in the sea.
And still you are here.
You are alive.
Because they refuse to die.
In 1781, on a British ship called the Psalm, the crew threw 32 different people into the ocean. They did it to claim insurance money on the people they murdered. The court in England in 1783 argued about money, not about the killing.
But your ancestors did not all go quietly. In 1839, on the ship Amistad Singh, they pie called Joseph Sinclair led a revolt and won his freedom in the United States Supreme Court in 1841.
There were over 400 recorded uprisings on slave ships. Some chose the water over the chains, and that was their last act of freedom. Every single person who survived that ocean is the reason you exist.
Your family did not begin in slavery. Your family survived long enough to reach it. The mothers, the fathers, the children who lived through that water-terry life. Forward to you.
Their names were never written down. It's in you right now. That is why what they try to erase in the ocean is sitting in your chest. You are the evidence
that they could not finish what they started. It could not take you.
Now you know what crossed that ocean to make you. Do not let anyone tell you it never happened. Say it to your children. Teach it out loud.
12.5 million left. 2 million never landed.
You came from the ones
Who held on to the water. Carry them with you.
never let this be erased.
$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.